Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. Today, we're going to talk about sexpionage or sexploitation, what that really looks like. Because I'm going to share with you a real life, true story where an individual doing an investigation, it was actually a criminal RICO investigation, and due to that investigation, he was targeted by a drug cartel with a woman to go establish a romantic relationship. They had a child. When the child was 3 years old in 2020, that child was kidnapped. As of the time I had this gentleman on my show, he still had not recovered his son. I still, to this day, don't think he has recovered his son. So this is what it looks like in real life. Now, you see a picture of Melania as well as Erica Kirk. And it's been bandied about between those two that they were planted deliberately in Donald Trump's and Charlie Kirk's lives to infiltrate it. Now, who did it, why they did it, all that, I don't know the minutia of that particular thing. But what I wanted to do is, because Melania just came out of nowhere. I mean, nowhere. Like, she flew in from a different galaxy, landed and said, hey, guess what, everybody? I had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. Didn't know him, never participated with him, blah, 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 blah. There should be a congressional investigation. Well, we know how congressional investigations go. We even know how when they go select a special committee just to investigate a certain event, like, I don't know, January 6th, or the 9/11 Commission, or the JFK Committee. Would you like me just to go on down this list? Okay, so when these people come out and they make statements like that, when there's no need to do that, that's why they have spokespeople, and I guarantee you they have publicists as well. They're trying to get in front of something before it gets out there. But sorry, Melania, train left the station years ago. You weren't on it. You're probably a pawn, being used in the whole mix of things. And it is what it is. Erica Kirk, now she's running TPUSA. I don't know how much influence she has today as opposed to what she had, day one when she decided she was going to be the CEO. I mean, when TPUSA acknowledged allegedly Charlie Kirk's wishes that she would be the CEO and run TPUSA, I don't know for sure. Never met Charlie Kirk, so I have no idea. But, is what it is. Erica Kirk has a kind of a cloudy history. She was in beauty pageants, obviously, from you see in the thumbnail. Let me throw up some photographs for you guys, just kind of while I talk. I'm going to get into the real story here in a minute. And of course, this is an edited copy. I took the background out, so let me run through these. Here's the original. Blow it up for you. There they are. This is not photoshopped. And you see she's quite young. Still has, her dyed hair color. That's not her original color. This is Erica Kirk. Now, this pageant, the company that ran the pageants, was owned by Donald Trump. Coincidence? I don't know. There's the original. I mean, any red-blooded American man would definitely fawn on over that. And imagine if she just threw herself at you. Yeah, I already know. So here's another one of the famous four. I mean, they all look pretty cozy to me. Here they are again. And I want you to know, just pay attention to his tie and what Melania is wearing. So you can determine these are different events, because here's a red tie. She has a little spaghetti strap. Looks like a dress. I have a glare, so forgive me. Blow it up. Yeah, spaghetti strap top, looks like a little nightie maybe. They both have them kind of on. So here's the next one with a Ghislaine Naomi Campbell, supermodel, who's been to the Epstein Island multiple times. And then Donald and Melania, both with, they're happy to be there. It's not like they're being forced. And here you go. Here's another one. Again, note what Melania is wearing. Donald's tie, because generally he's always in a suit. Wrong button. And there's one of Melania's modeling photos edited for the thumbnail. There's the original. And there were allegations this was on Epstein's plane, but who the hell knows? And when you look at her modeling pictures, they're not very good. When you go look at real models, like you can go look at Brenna Black, Brenna Black on Instagram. That's a real model. That's a real supermodel. She's an actress. She's here locally in Houston. All the lingerie photos are her lingerie that she designed. There's hundreds of them. Again, for red-blooded American, that's what you want to go look at. So here we go. This is them again. Naomi Campbell. So we know these two have been to Epstein Island. I mean, would it be statistically possible that one of these two might have gone, since these went multiple times? I don't know. And here's another one where, of course, Melania has no association, doesn't know anything about Ghislaine Maxwell, never been around her. And again, note the top, red tie. And look, I probably spent, 10 minutes looking for photographs. It's not like I really went and did this deep dive. This is how readily available they are. And there's the thumbnail that I did for the show. And again, here's another one. And if you don't know who she is, that would be Ghislaine Maxwell. So I've shown you, I don't know what, 5, 6 maybe photographs of her in the same photograph without even trying, of her and Ghislaine Maxwell together. Right? There you go. Now, was Charlie Kirk targeted due to him becoming an influencer? Now, I've said this repeatedly, and I keep telling people this, and they don't want to believe me because they're overlooking all the red flags, all the bullshit, the lies, everything, because they have faith in their president, Donald John Trump. Let me explain this to you, okay, folks? Because back in the 70s, okay, I had an 18-year-old ID when I was 16 years old, I was going to bars. I was going to topless bars, country and western bars, punk rock bars, disco bars, because it was all, urban cowboy, Gillies, Saturday Night Fever, disco. Punk rock broke on the scene. So everything's happening in Houston, and I'm in the middle of all of it. And I didn't stop. And I worked my way up from this little high school kid who had a fake ID. Well, it was actually a real ID. It just wasn't mine. Who was just like tearing up the town. Eventually, I had VIPs to every major topless bar, every major nightclub that you would want to go to, no line, no cover, all access, everywhere. And in riding that rocket to nowhere, basically, I mean, a bunch of fun, but ended up nowhere. Didn't take advantage of everything except the girls and the drugs and myself. But I was surrounded. I wanted to look him up. I was surrounded by people who had shit tons of money. I mean, stupid money to where they could throw $1,000 at a girl just to come sit with them and talk to them all night long at a topless bar. Okay, no sex, no nothing, just to sit there and talk. That kind of stupid ass money. I've been around a lot of men like that. Let's see. American First. I'm looking for something because Texas American First, American Title Company of Houston. One of these guys that I'm going to tell you about, who had this like ridiculously stupid amount of money, and I've talked about him before on my show. Just, I'm giving you an analogy, okay, of what wealthy people are capable of. All right. So I didn't even know this guy, but I'd heard of him through an ex-girlfriend who lived in Dallas and used to party with this guy all the time. Just talking about this guy. Well, one day, imagine this, me at an after hours party doing lines of coke. So there's a pile of cocaine on the coffee table in the middle of this guy's 4-story condo over in over off Westcott, like Memorial area. Anyway, so I'm doing there's these platinum cards laying out: American Express, Discover, MasterCard, and Visa, all 4 of them. And they got, they're just laying on the table next to this blow. And I pick it up and I'm just like putting, lining up a line for me. And I glance at the name, like, who's dumb enough to leave their cards right here on the table like this? It says Mark Caton. I went, oh, I know that name. And I go, who's Mark Caton? And the guy in front of me goes, me. I'm like, did you used to live in Dallas? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I know exactly who this guy is now. And I know this guy parties balls to the wall. And so downstairs is his nice, shiny red Ferrari, convertible, absolutely. He was leased, and his daddy was, and this dude made just for, I don't know, existing, that kind of thing. So whenever Mark had after hours parties there almost every night at his place, he had his choice of any female at that party. All he had to say was just, come on. And that was a wrap. Okay. They were going to go in the bedroom. They were going to have sex. period. It's not like Mark went, are you 18? No, she's the hottest chick in my house, so I'm going to go have sex with her. And then, of course, they want to hang out some more, and he's got to boom, kick them out. Next after hour party, they show up, and he's treating them like dog shit. I mean, talking down to them, just mentally abusing them, emotionally abusing them, and they just coming back for more. Absolutely. That's a true story. And I know many others like that. Another one, he owned 2 buildings over off 59 South, just catty corner to the Galleria, just on the other side of 610 and 59 of the Galleria. 2 buildings. We used to go there after hours and go up to his office on the top floor and party balls. You guys don't understand. It was, entourage of strippers, bodybuilders, male strippers, I was in that crowd, drug dealers, just people partying all the time, having a blast. It was like that almost every night for me. And those kind of people had ridiculously stupid money. I'm just trying to hang out and have fun and, keep up with the Joneses. And I'm doing a good job. So let me explain to you. Trump, when he was in his 30s, that was about when he was, I think he's 33, 34. Back when Studio 54 in New York was the world's hotspot. If you were anybody or you wanted to be somebody, you were at Studio 54 trying to be seen. So imagine if you're at Studio 54 and you want to be seen, and there's open sex, there's open drug use, it's just, open homosexuality, nobody's tripping, It's it's literally Babylon. Now, allegedly, Trump doesn't drink or do drugs, and nobody's ever accused him of such. But he obviously has a proclivity for young, beautiful women. That's just go look at his history of, he even said that, if Ivanka wasn't his daughter, hey, she's game. Just little weird things like that. But they're red flags. And, of course, people just overlook that because they want to have faith in their president, that he's going to do the right thing, be the right thing. Because he says the right things. But he doesn't do the right things. That's the problem. So obviously he's being blackmailed. He's being steered. He's being manipulated. Have they eliminated him and, replaced him with a clone or a double or a synthetic or, same thing that's going on with Joe Biden. All we know is he's making decisions that are detrimental to the United States of America inhabitants. Everybody here is getting it, whether you're a legal alien or you're a U.S. national or U.S. citizen. Yeah, everybody's getting, a nice fat dose of Trumponomics. Yeah, absolutely. So the real true story right here in this book. Report to the governor. Racketeering, bribery, corruption, election fraud. How the discovery of mass corruption in the state of Arizona led to the abduction of McKinnley Harris Thaler, author of Decline and Fall of California, John Harris Thaler, who is an attorney, obviously an author. So, as I will read the back cover to you. On September 19th, 2020, McKinnley Harris Thaler, nearly 3 years old, was abducted. At that time, McKinnley's dad was investigating money laundering and public corruption in his home state of Arizona. The abduction was intended to extort dad into terminating the investigation concerning. To date, That's when this book was published, March 20. You can sign it for me. Yeah, I don't see a copyright published date in here. I don't know, probably 2004. Sounds about right. So anyway, the abduction was intended to extort Dad, John Harris Thaler, into terminating the investigation concerning, right? To date, neither Dad nor Dad's family members nor family friends has seen McKinnley or received any communication from McKinnley. Dad, John Harris Thaler, does not know where his son is. The state of Arizona is a cesspool of corruption. Fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, crystal methamphetamine flow freely through an open border. And with it comes the cash. Billions of dollars flow into hundreds of cash houses while the drugs are held in stash houses. The result is a plethora of racketeering enterprises, money laundering, tax evasion, insurance fraud, payroll theft, election fraud, and bankruptcy fraud. Bribes paid to public officials, both elected and appointed, provide the Mexican drug cartels with a safe haven. In February 2019, attorney John Harris Thaler and his team were retained to investigate. Thaler had a star witness, Brittany Rae Chavez, his wife of 3 years. At the time of their marriage in 2016, 3 years earlier, Thaler had no idea that his wife and her mother, Donna Rae Chavez, were participants in one of the largest multi-state money laundering schemes in U.S. history, or that their participation spanned more than 20 years. Thaler had no idea that Brittany had known him since 2011, when she was paid to create an extortion scheme intended to disrupt an earlier investigation into organized crime. He did not know that their chance meeting in October 2014 was anything but an accident of fate. He did not know that their marriage was a sham. Thaler's accidental discovery of certain falsified recorded trust deeds in early 2018 changed everything. By late 2019, Brittany was a cooperating witness who requested federal witness protection. But before protection could be arranged, Brittany succumbed to family pressures and threats of violence aimed at her, at Thaler, and at their 2-year-old son, McKinley. After 2 previous short-lived abductions on September 19, 2020, McKinley was taken for the 3rd and final time. Report to the Governor chronicles the 4-year investigation conducted by Thaler and his law office. It includes the findings and evidence provided to Arizona Governor Doug Ducey in May 2022, to federal agencies, to attorneys generals in 5 states, and to a joint Arizona House and Senate committee on February 23, 2023. It details who has hijacked Arizona's elections and how. It discusses the actions taken by corrupt public officials intended to discredit Thaler and prevent this story, from being told. It describes the horrors of child abduction and parental alienation, a growing epidemic in the United States. And you can see that picture. That is John and McKinley. That's the book. Reporttothegovernor.com. You can go pick one of these up. Fascinating book. Okay. I've done RICO investigations, and to put together the complicated, fraudulent schemes, and this goes like to the elections, real estate, deeds, notary, money laundering, human trafficking, drug, titles, employment. It just goes on and on and on. How really clever and smart the drug cartels actually are. It's 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 a really, really, really good book. So go check that out. That's the true story of John Harris Thaler, how he was a targeted individual. He was set up. And come to find out, bam, he was in the middle of all of it the whole time. So now, could Erica Kirk and Melania both be patsies to target a specific influencer? I don't know. But it definitely raises awareness that it could be a very big possibility, especially when Melania comes out and just denies any association with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And I've shown you multiple pictures of them all together in a picture. There's more pictures of them together than there are me and my daughter. There are only 2 of those known to exist. Absolutely. So it's a little, I posted this yesterday. I was doing something and I think I was cooking and it popped in my head and I went, oh, go write that down. Immediately, go write that down. Otherwise, you're going to forget it, because I get those all the time. I never write them down, record them, and then they're gone. I can't remember it again. At what point do you leave your sanity at the door to accept the insanity of others as sane? Yep, that's what I wrote. There it is. And did you know? 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 Did you know that China purchased oil from Iran in crypto? Not gold. Definitely used a little Chinese yuan, but yeah, the majority crypto. So Trump, when you hear him yell, tariffs, sanctions, taxes, got to use the petrodollar. USA world dominance just come to a screeching halt. And even though you're going to hear people as I talk about all these oil tankers are coming over to the United States to, get oil, well, they really don't have any other choice. There's not many places you can get oil. We have a shit ton of refineries here. That's what we do. So not only do we have a madman in the White House, but here, let me break this off to you about the crypto, okay? So, and I'm quoting here, China began accepting cryptocurrency for Iranian oil-related transactions in 2025 with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, which is pretty much running the country right now. Processing over $3 billion in crypto that year to facilitate oil sales, fund proxies, and procure arms. So I guess they don't care if the Iranian rial crashes because they got this crypto that they've been building up. 2025. The IRGC integrated cryptocurrency into its financial strategy using blockchain for large-scale sanctions evasion. By the fourth quarter, IRGC-linked addresses accounted for over half the value received by Iranian entities, moving more than $3 billion with a B to support regional militia networks and oil states. Mid-March 2026, which was about a month ago, 30 days, Iran expanded its use of digital assets to collect transit tolls in the Strait of Hormuz, accepting payments in Bitcoin, USDT, or Chinese yuan routed through the CIPS network, CIPS network, with fees reaching up to $2 million per vessel. 2025-2026. while the primary settlement method for oil sales remains renminbi, RMB, through small banks and the SIPS system. Stablecoins have increasingly been used to bypass traditional banking rails, with Iran-linked crypto activity reaching an approximately 7.78 billion on-chain in 2025. The use of crypto for these transactions allows Iran to circumvent U.S. sanctions and Western financial oversight, with the IRGC exploiting offshore exchange-branded stablecoin infrastructure to move funds outside the U.S. correspondent banking system. End quote. There you go, folks. What you think about that? I don't know. Did anybody tell you anything about that? So, I try to find these little things, nuanced things that nobody's talking about, and bring them to you so you can be a little bit more aware of it. What's that going to do to, your holding cryptocurrency, whatever you have. I don't know if you have Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, Stellar, Doge, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a crypto guy. I'm not an expert crypto. I don't understand how the market works. It's just, kind of like the stock market. Somebody can say something and it goes up, which makes no sense to me. It should be some supply or demand or utility. But, another thing that I brought to people's attention over, I mainly post on Telegram, okay, in my little show over there. But, this is really, that's all you need to know. That's Donald Trump at the Oval Office getting some DoorDash of McDonald's. And apparently he loves McDonald's. And let me explain something to you about that, okay? Because the executive chef for the White House is like, Michelin rated, 5-star, best of the best executive chefs in the freaking world. Because imagine what that is on your resume. Yes, I was the White House executive chef. Man, you can go work anywhere. You can call your own shots. You can go get money and people will pay, for you to open up a restaurant. But yet, he's ordering DoorDash. Not only is it, order DoorDash, but McDonald's. I mean, does he just like to hear his name that much? McDonald's? I know that was good, right? Because he loves to hear his name. He's trying to get his name on everything, okay? This is the deal. He don't want to be a loser. He's got to be the winner. And if you say anything negative about him, you critique him, he turns on you, and then he bastardizes you. Just like he just offended, I would say, 1 billion people in the world by ridiculing the Pope. You can say whatever you want about the Vatican and the Pope, but you can't be the most powerful man in the world with the biggest voice and the biggest bully pulpit and beat up the Pope on public. And then he did the whole, I got my hand on this person where I'm healing them, it looks like. When John Lennon, you guys weren't around, I was. When John Lennon said that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus Christ, guess what happened after that? Literal bonfires, community, public, videotape bonfires of teenage kids and their parents, religious leaders tossing Beatles records, Beatles albums, Beatles merchandise and memorabilia into a huge bonfire. Absolutely. And I'm sure in hindsight that some of them are going, man, I wish I wouldn't have burnt that original Butcher Baby album cover. Those things are worth like $25,000 in mint condition, if not more. And these people tossing them in there like burnt marshmallows. Absolutely. So that's what happened back in the 60s when we were a little bit more moral and ethical and upright. But now, yeah, not only can you portray yourself as Jesus Christ, the Savior, you could like totally ridicule the Pope and just beat him down. Yeah, in public. That's the decorum of Donald John Trump, to turn on his critics, people who question his authority, his motives, his integrity. Because if Donald Trump said that, why are we looking into the Epstein thing? That's a hoax, right? So he wanted everything dead right there. And then here we go about, 3 months later, 4 months later, Melania comes, I've never had anything to do with the Epsteins. I've never met the Epsteins. I've never been around the Epsteins. But there should be an investigation. Try and take the high road. She forgot where she came from. What are we going to do with this country? What are we going to do? What are we going to do with all these people just walking around zombified who just don't have a clue, don't want to hear it, don't know the program, institutionalized, dumbed down, miseducated? To actually find the truth, you really have to study your ass off. You have to just put down everything that you ever thought was true and have a reality potential that, hey, maybe it's not true. That's not true. Is that on? There we go. Okay. But when you see something with your eyes, you can't deny that Melania probably was around Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at least 12 times, a dozen times. I just showed you 5 or 6, so go do your own dive. Go count how many times you can find a photograph of them in the same picture. It's not photoshopped or AI or anything like that. Just take my word for it, for somebody who has mingled with the wealthy and the rich, that you have a shit ton of money, you could throw it at people, you can get people to do whatever the hell you want. I promise you that. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. Some stripper took it on a one-night stand. Imagine that. So y'all need to think about everything. Look at this new Swalwell over in California. We knew that guy was shady from, years ago, if not a decade ago. And yet, he still mingled around in California and politics and Congress. I told you these people rarely hold these other politicians accountable. Why you're just not going to see the arrests in Jeffrey Epstein. If you did, Bill Gates would get taken into custody. Naomi Campbell would be in custody. All these just celebrities, politicians, they'd all be in custody. I mean, they went to that island for, a reason. That's why nobody ever got to see the island afterwards, and everything was covered up. And that's not the only island. Larry Ellison, second richest man in the world, Oracle, CIA backed and funded, now runs TikTok, 1/3 of the Stargate AI project. Yeah. He owns almost all of a Hawaiian island, Lanai. almost the whole island. It's a big ass island. Yeah. So these people can do stupid things like Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg has a $210 million yacht fleet. Okay? Yacht fleet. $210 million worth. How many yachts can he be on at any one time? I'm sure he's got like one over here, one over there, this ocean, this sea. Got one everywhere. Imagine having that kind of money, because you have to have a staff to run that. And they're always running the boat. You can't just leave a boat like that unattended. So these people have stupid, ridiculous, stupid money. Okay? Like the whole movie was in Demi Moore in, where she was married and, got propositioned. Yeah. What's your price? What's it going to take? How much? I got more than you're ever going to accept. So come on. We're going to get to your number. That's what it really looks like. So don't get okey doked. Do your own research. Like I tell everybody, go research it. Go use logic and reason. Don't use common sense. Nobody's got any of that. Got to have uncommon sense these days. So just a little quickie to give y'all an update on, John Harris Thaler. What's going on with that? Reporttothegovernor.com if you want to pick up that book, or if you want to contact John, put him on your show, talk about it. That's a real life deal. So I just want to give you that comparison to show you, hey, is Erica that? Was she the handler, or was she the manipulator? Melania, what was that? Is that the blackmail? Is that the whole dynamic? Because she was one of these models brought over that was in that little circle of, having sex with all these men. And, oh, here, Donald, have you met Melania? And he liked that one. And, he kept her and, now he's got to protect her. That she wasn't this basically a high paid escort, / model. Passed around. Absolutely. Thank you all for coming over here, spending your time, money, and energy with me. I really do appreciate it. If you want, hit that like, subscribe, all that crap out the door. I forgot to run the banner, but if you don't know, LeFlore's On Trust books and specialty trust books, those are discontinued, out of print. They will no longer be sold or printed. We have a couple dozen, 3 dozen of the books left, the actual softcover books. Once those are exhausted, that's it. They'll be taken off the website and will not be for sale ever again. I spoke to Ann last night. We are working on putting together a completely different package for you guys. So there won't, you won't need a class. You won't need anything. We're building our own AI. Yeah, we're going ballistic on everybody. Because that's what we do. That's why the books are going away. So if you want one, just for preservation, because when everything digital goes, you're gonna need a book. When I live off land, you better get you a book. You better download that stuff now. You better print it out and build you a book. Just saying. But anyway, if you want to make a deal on the On Trust or Specialty or both or any one of the other books, I'm still doing the 1 ounce of silver deal. So hit me up. Catherine, your books went out yesterday. Kevin, who had on my show, who had gotten scammed by Patricia. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I was trying to send him his book. I called him yesterday and texted him, and he hasn't sent me his address. But his book's ready to go back out to him. You know, I said I would help him out because he got burned. Burn, burn, burn. A ring of fire. A ring of fire. I got a comment. So somebody, Mohaka. I bet that AI could be useful. Very, 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 very useful. It's something, you know, there's only one of me, which sucks. I only have so much time in my day to focus on certain things. And, you know, I'm always behind. Always behind. I'm still reading my daughter's dissertation. I haven't finished that. I lack about 10 more pages. You guys have no clue who she is, but she is somebody. She will get her PhD. She will be Dr. Tarvin. And she is way more smarter and way more intelligent than I am. And she is scary like that. Very, very, very proud of her. Even if she wasn't my daughter, she's going to be somebody. So you'll hear about her soon, especially with all this stuff going on with this hemp lawsuit and the laws here in Texas. Yeah, y'all don't know how much on the front lines she actually is. Y'all will. I think that's all I want to cover. Just, you know, Ann's book's going away. So pick those up if you want them. I'm going to do a live seminar in Central Texas with Joe Esquivel. If you don't know who Joe is, he's a licensed private investigator, forensic auditor for financial transactions, whatever that looks like, whether it's credit card, mortgage, loan, all that stuff. I just haven't figured out a day. I'm trying to work out my schedule. I'll know more Friday about what I can do, what I can't do. Because that I'll just be able to have more flexibility in my schedule. So it probably won't be this next coming weekend. It may be the weekend after that or sometime in May. I don't know. We're going to set it up. Definitely probably will not be in June. So we'll see what we got in May. I'm going to cover a lot of different things. Talk about estate planning, trusts, wills, healthcare directives, things like that. I haven't figured out what kind of curriculum I'm going to do, bonus offers, anything like that. Who knows? You may show up. I may give you a book for free. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I get it put together. I just haven't talked to Joe about how we want to do it and where we want to do it, whether we want to pick Austin, San Antonio, you know, or somewhere else around there. Maybe close to an airport. I don't know. Depending on how much lead time we have. So look forward to doing that with Joe. Get you guys more educated. I don't know if we're going to do it 2 days, a Saturday and a Sunday, one day, split it. I don't know. I'd like to do 2 days. Just so, you know, if you want to come and, you know, we're going to build a trust together, whatever that looks like next day, I can go over it and look at it. Or if you have anything else that you want to bring for me to look at and vet, maybe you have a trust already established, you want me to, you know, read it and vet it and see if it's put together or if, you know, any amendments need to be made to it, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. Well, again, I appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome week. It's starting to clear up here in Houston and become pretty with some sun, nice little breeze. But I'm headed to the gym. So, peace in the Middle East and God bless y'all. Thank you.